You put a question up there about what did you ask? You asked something that was a little bit
like
like
a rating, right? Like at the end of my
the
video, like
rating.
instead of my summary where I kind of rehash what I've talked about, I was thinking about maybe doing a rating at the end and saying like tonality, I give it this many stars out of 5 or whatever. And at first I had people being like, "It's a good idea," but then as it went on, people were like, "I don't know if I like that," and I was like, "All right." Like, and that's why I post these ideas, man, is to get that kind of feedback.
It was really good feedback.
It was really good feedback. It kind of made me think. Like I was like, those are some really good points. Like I really like that. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do what everybody else wants me to do. You know, Patreon members. I'm out. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. So what do you guys in the comments here think about, of course, if you've seen any of Aaron's reviews, you know that they're highly objective. He'll take some measurements, but he also adds a subjective aspect where he'll listen. But then he asked, like, what if I did ratings? Like I said, okay, what is it? Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Were the ones you
Aesthetic,
proposed.
tonality, maybe spatial quality. There was something else. Well, there was two other ones. I can't remember what the other. Oh, ease of use. Like how much trouble is it to get it set up right? And then somebody suggested, consider the weight as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some really like good ideas from some of my Patreon members too. Like they sent me messages and said, "Hey, here's an idea for a video." One
Mm-hmm.
suggested doing a video for smaller speakers, specifically for people who don't have the ability to lug big speakers around. Is like focus on speakers that are about 25 pounds or less each, and do a review on lightweight speakers. And I was like, "That's a good idea." And then also she said uh, maybe do a video or a what to avoid if you have tinnitus. Like what kind of characteristics to look for in the data that will tell you it won't sound good if you have tinnitus. So
Mm.
good ideas, man. I like them.
So, like, I'll show you something real quick. I mentioned that I used to do that. Like some of my first videos, I'd try to put a rating system.
Yeah,
First of all, it was kind of tough, right?
it is. It's tough to be consistent. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the tough part.
Like
Let's see.
somebody say, "Well, you gave this one 4, but you gave this one 3," and it's like, I could see that going either way.
Look at this. Like, I think these are some headphones. Raw score. See, I'd say weight. Like, how much weight do I put on it? Sound signature. Like, when
Man,
was this? 6 years ago. Dang.
6 years ago. Look at you. You look
You
like
know,
a young buck then.
I know my beard was not so white.
You look like you're 20 in that video. Like
Yeah.
25 tops.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't have kids here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be what it is, actually.
Anyway. So yeah, I've tried it. The tough thing is I think the correct way to do it, if you were to do it, is that everything would have to have like an objective way of reaching that score. Like what would be the what would categorize something as a 9 versus an 8?
Yeah.
Other than I feel like it's a 9.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to wrap it up some way. That's why I'm saying being consistent. That would be the hardest part because, when you're subjective, one day you may be like, this is how I feel about this
Mm-hmm.
speaker today.
The other
Yeah.
thing is I don't know if people understand or if they think like this, but you have to weight things. Everybody has a different weighting for the criteria. Like how important is the build quality to you? To somebody it might be like extremely important, and to somebody else it'll be like I don't care. I really don't care about that whatsoever. So if you have a total score, they're like, well, this scored really low. They have to understand, like, yeah, if you're gonna take into account all those things being equal, but for you, maybe it's not equal. Maybe all you care about is ease of use.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people definitely rank those kind of things differently. For sure. Which is, why you got to say, all right, everything I'm about to say is just how I feel. And then everything I'm about to show you data wise is objective data, not how I feel. You really got to kind of make that delineation so people understand what you're talking about.
It would be it would be really hard because you'd have to say, let's say tonal accuracy. If you're just say something like that, well, there's going to be some parts of it that are not perfect line, huh?
Right.
You know, maybe the bass is going to be up a little bit, and then it's going to be scooped out a little bit, and then up. Maybe you'd have to look at the average of like, there's this much above and this much below, and so this is the deviation, and anything beyond this deviation is going to be, you know, if it's 3 dB or more, then it's 7. Like it'd be really weird at a certain point. But that's the only way to be objective about it, to keep it consistent. Otherwise, yeah, it just would be too hard.
Yeah, that's why I just bailed on it. You know, I was thinking, yeah, maybe this isn't a good idea, so I stopped.
Make sure to check out our audio-only version of the podcast at anchor.fm/Daily HiFi, or just go to your favorite podcasting service and search for Daily HiFi.